Morning, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back, all subscribers to the live stream. Here for another week of trading. Hope everyone had a good, pleasant, and yes, a enjoyable weekend. One that was efficient and included a lot of the things that you wanted to accomplish for the weekend. So let's hope that that translates into great trading. Let's hope that everyone's mind is relaxed and that we're ready to see what the market gives us today. I know the opening yesterday was pretty strong. It opened up pretty much how it closed on Friday. We saw it run a little bit higher than it did, and now we are retracing so far this morning. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to give everyone another couple minutes or so, and then we'll get a quick top-down analysis in, and then from there we'll get ready for the opening bell. We do not have news this morning, so we do not have to worry about that. And then there was also any of the movement from London or early this morning. It's not related to news. So let's give everyone another minute and a half. And if you're brand new to the chat, go ahead and introduce yourself. Put yourself in the chat. Let us know where you're from and how long you've been trading. Right. All right, let's see. Randolph, good morning. Good morning. D. Anderson. Hello, everyone. Fauci. The Don. Caveman. All right. Crypto Queen. Ready for another monster trade, Crypto Queen? All right. Sultan. Loot. I'm at. All right. Antonio's in. Good morning. Yeah, Crypto Korean. That was a crazy trade for you on Friday. Congrats again. All right, Luke. Big target fill for him on Friday. Friday every day. Yeah, we all do. But let's see what today is. You're right. Friday just kind of took off. Unfortunately, Friday's kind of price action didn't give a lot of entries. So either you were in or you were on the sideline watching, taking a risky entry, which I didn't do on Friday. I mean, I did take one, which wasn't great, but I didn't have FOMO and jump in on the long that everyone should have either gotten in during lunch or right at 1 o'clock. And then afterwards, it really didn't produce much as far as entries for us to join after 1:30. All right, Young. Good morning, Ray. Ray, we're all ready to get paid. Lead the way. Yep. Patient, be fearless. Absolutely. Another day, another dollar. It's a new week. Let's see what it brings us. As I mentioned, there's no news today, so we don't have anything to worry about. As far as news is concerned this week, we have a medium impact folder tomorrow morning at 10. That's it for Tuesday. Now, on Wednesday, we have two high impact uh, news events coming, flash services and flash manufacturing coming at 9:45. On Thursday, yeah, so for Wednesday, that's it, just at 9:45. We have two high impact folders. On Thursday at 8:30, there's two high impact folders, which is advanced GDP and unemployment. We also have three medium impact at the same time. So that's five announcements at 8:30. And then new home sales, which is also medium impact, comes at 10. So it's five announcements at 8:30 and then one at 10. And this is Thursday. So you may want to mark your calendars for Thursday, as that may be a highly volatile day. And if we're looking for certain targets to be met, that might be the day to meet it. And then we round out the week on Friday with a high impact at 8:30 in the morning, core CPE. And then we have a medium impact at 10, which is pending home sales. So a little back heavy this week. Most of it happening on Thursday. We have one on Tuesday, one on Wednesday, and two on Friday. So just keep that in mind. There's nothing today, and so we can trade without news. All right, so I'll start off taking a look at the dollar here, just on the weekly. We had quite a move from the dollar last week after the previous week didn't do very much at all. We managed to pull the highs from the previous 2 weeks. We do have equal highs here, which looks like a draw on liquidity. And so as I look at the dollar, I mean, even if I slide out, right, we can see that the dollar has been selling since last year, right? So you could say that it's a bearish trend. I mean, we did sweep a couple highs here, so that led me to believe that we could be seeing potentially some bullish momentum. But the only way that would happen is we would have to get above these highs here. Prior to that, what I'm expecting dollar to do, since we're already moving in this direction, is for these equal highs to be swept, and then for there to be a push downward for these equal lows. That's just my prediction, what I think is how the flow is going to happen. We're going to do this and this. But that doesn't mean that that's the way it's going to work. We could end up doing this. Right. So I just want to make sure that I'm paying attention to the chart and looking at where the candles are going. But I do at this moment believe that with these fair value gaps we have below, that it could, if there is any retracement, it could push price right into these equal highs, which then gives it a bearish fair value gap for a swing lower. So that's what I'm thinking is going to happen for the dollar. Now, that's the weekly chart, so it doesn't actually happen this week, all of it. But that's just where I think in the medium term where price is headed. And even as we look at the daily, we still see lots of support here for price if there is a retracement. It's interesting that it tried to break out this fair value gap the last 2 days. Last 3 days actually. It's traded out of it, but found its way back inside. But it's in the upper quadrant or upper half of this fair value gap. So that is a good sign for price moving upwards towards the equal highs here. All right, move over to ES. As we can see, we're pretty much in uncharted territory, nothing really to compare to except for way back when in January of 2022, right? And even on the weekly, there's no fair value gaps or anything to trade into. There's only this high, which as of right now, we are about 42, 43 points away from. So that's where the target is for ES. Obviously, there's a few fair value gaps before that can support price for any type of retracement. Same here on the daily. We swept the swing high from the end of December just on Friday with the big bullish momentum there. Previously, it tried and failed. It recharged, grabbed a little momentum, and then pushed right through all the way to new yearly highs, as well as sweeping 2022 highs. As I mentioned, up next is 5028. Not sure if we'll get there this week, but there is a possibility that we could get there this week. It's within range. Let's see if there's anything on the smaller time frames for us to pay attention to. Right at the present moment, not a lot. We do have, geez, okay, those need to reset. All right, so there's not a lot really to pay attention to. We do have equal highs here, so that could be an easy push for price. Maybe we'll see a retracement down into the fair value gap and then a push above these equal highs. Let's go ahead and shift down to NQ. Get back on a weekly, see if it did exactly the same. Yep, it sure did. And so we are very close to its all-time high as well. 17,700. We had an opening yesterday with a gap here from 17,439, 17,465, so about 30 points. And from the high that we're looking at, we're talking about another 175 points from prices now, but from the high of yesterday evening, you're only talking about 115 points to a new high. So this is well within range for the week. This is within my target for this week, so I do see that happening. All right, down on the hourly, we do have a sort of a break of structure here where we put in a new high and we started making a small retracement and then put in another high. So we need to pay attention to what happens in the next, I guess, couple of hours and see if we are seeking new prices. If I look down at, whoops, not adjust. If I look down at regular trading hours, we still have this big area from Friday that wasn't traded back into. So that could be within range, or it could wait until it touches 17,700 and then find this area as a retracement. So we'll just monitor price and see how it plays this morning, and we'll just follow price action and let us tell us where it's going. So I'm going to shut down and move over to the 15-minute and stay here while we watch the opening bell. I'm going to go back to electronic trading hours now. All right. Good morning, Vivian. So far, no newcomers. All right, we'll give them a little while for some newcomers to join. Midnight open here at 17,552. Okay. Oh, DB, good morning. All right, IMAX. CEO, good morning. All right, we've seen price now trade above the midnight and 8:30 open. Still in the opening 5 minutes of the opening bell. And we're now reaching for morning highs. London high and lows already been taken. D. Anderson, excellent. A sharp retracement and during the next candle. I'm doing good. Said Toker FX. Yes, I'm doing good this morning. How are you? Yeah, good to have you back. Mondo, good morning. Right. Looks like a deeper retracement than I originally thought. And we're now pushing towards the 61% level. All right, back at the opening bell now. Shift back up to the 5-minute there. Also, let me make the 15-minute larger. Another day, another dollar. Absolutely. Sniper ICT. Good morning. Great username. Oops. There's a fair value. Oops. Low 17,520. All right. So we have several coming, at least on the 5-minute. We have, well, inside of one now. There's another one at 501. There's another one that starts around 496, and an even larger one starting at 492. So there's several fair value gaps all the way down to the previous day high. In fact, it would surprise me if that's not where we're going. Yep. So previous day high, and then we have the new week opening gap, which is this green shaded area down near 466 to 462. CEO, you're absolutely right. That's a huge rejection candle, especially on the 15-minute. Went up and swept highs, and now we're looking for lows. So we just need to make sure that price is going to continue this way. But as we follow it, if it does continue and we end up reaching previous day high, new week opening gap, remember below, we have several areas that never got filled in. Like the difference between electronic trading hours and the regular trading hours, those kind of things are still available and still open. And so we just need to see if that's where price is willing to go. But we'll give it some time. We're still within 15 minutes after the opening bell. So price is still pretty volatile with its opening range. And so we're just going to allow it to go ahead and print that opening range, and we'll go from there. Okay. All right. Well, let's check that. Yeah, let's see. Let's see what the others are doing. Okay. Oh man, the Dow is off to the races. All right, so Dow and Nasdaq are really doing the opposite thing. Whereas the Dow is putting in higher highs, it made its false move was to the downside, and then it just started running for higher prices. Whereas Nasdaq ran higher, took out the morning session highs, and then now it's running for lower prices. And the S&P is kind of sitting in the middle. It's bullish at the moment, but it has a wick on both sides. So it's interesting that they're doing that. And then we have the dollar doing what it's doing. In fact, you know what? Let me just bring this down and show everybody what I'm looking at for a moment. All right, we see that. All right, well, let's just start. Nasdaq, this is where we are on the far right. We can see that's the only candle moving downwards out of the four. You see where S&P is and where the Dow is. The Dow is just pushing and running. S&P is trying to catch up now. Looks like now Nasdaq is back to pretty much the opening price of the hour. And then on this side, where the dollar is, right, we really want to see the dollar doing its own thing and the other three moving together. Go back to Nasdaq. I'll check back in later. We'll take a peek at the chart as we go throughout our day. Um, no, not exactly. SMT. No, what you're going to want to look for SMT, you're going to look for highs and lows, whether there's a high or low not taken. Now, I think, well, I take that back. Yes. So right now we see Nasdaq swept the lows of the morning. And if we look at the Dow and if we look at S&P, the morning lows are still intact, especially the London low at 2 o'clock. So that's a swing low for S&P. And then let's see and it's also the swing low for the Dow. Yes. Yep. So a good observation, sniper. All right, let's set up the macros now just to see what happens in the next 20 minutes. See if we have any break of structures or anything that gives us an indication that we should be looking for an entry. We're also approaching 10 o'clock, so we'll also be looking for the silver bullet in the next hour. Since we're just kind of, let me see something. All right, let's see where we all are so far this morning. We pretty much are back to where we started. We're a little bit higher than where the opening bell was. The opening bell was at 528. We're now at 542 roughly. So just want to see, what's everyone's bias this morning. Where do you think price is going? Yeah, it is pretty sloppy right now. Definitely not giving us anything to work with, but we'll just be patient. It's Monday morning. It's early. I know people are antsy and looking forward to hitting the button, but let's give it some time. All right, we're getting close to almost 10 o'clock now. So I just want to ask for everyone, if this is your first time visiting the live stream, go ahead and in the chat, let us know if you're from the United States, to let us know which state you're from. If you're outside of the United States, just let us know which country you're representing. And also maybe just one liner about how long you've been trading. Even if you're brand new, just say, hey, I'm brand new, just discovered trading and I'm just looking to learn. Just go ahead and introduce yourself. Just want to see who we have in the room. Also, if this is not your first time, but you've never mentioned anything in the chat, consider jumping in and introducing yourself as well. All right, GH, welcome. Good to have you. So I have a new week opening gap. NQ has a small new week opening gap. See manipulation down the weekly open. After the manipulation down. All right. Sweet. Yep. So the new week opening gap that Sniper's talking about on NQ, if you're looking at the chart, is down at 17,465 to 17,463. I use this indicator, NWOG, NDOG. I use that indicator to put my new week and new day opening gap on my chart every week. Oh, Fauci, you just started 3 months ago. Okay, all right. Well, welcome to the journey of day trading. It's an exciting one. So I'm sure you've already discovered that, but I'm sure you're going to find it rewarding. All right. Another newcomer from California. All right. Welcome. Make this a little larger so we can see that price is inside the fair value gap now. We're going to put a marker on the low just in case it wants to continue downwards. All right, 10 o'clock now. So the New York high has now been put in. We'll see if we sweep these highs. If we sweep these highs, then yeah, maybe we will go lower. I think immediately. Or if we go lower now, then we'll save this high for later. All right, from Boston. Okay, 5 years experience in futures. Excellent, excellent. Welcome to the room. I'm sure we'll find your insight valuable. So I'm glad you're here. We have people of all different levels. I would say I'm probably in the middle somewhere, but then we have some really, really, really excellent traders in the room. But we also have beginners and some 1-2 year experience. Yep. That's true. Yep. And CEO, in that case, that's what you do. You sit back and you watch and you wait and you don't guess which direction it's going, especially when it's sitting in the middle of the zone where it could go either way. If I just look at the range that we just saw of this retracement, right? 50% is right here, which is right where we are, right? In fact, 50% splits this fair value gap in half. And I'll leave the poll up for about another 15 minutes and then we'll pull it down and see where we land. Okay, looks like it might want to retest that midnight open again. Why only Topstep? Well, it's just the one that I selected, and mainly I selected it because I didn't want the unrealized gains to go against me. I wanted to have the ability to hold a trade, and if it came back on me and stop me out or I broke even on it. I didn't want to be penalized for it. But outside of that, I really don't have any other reason to choose Topstep over Apex or anyone else. That was really the reason there. I mean, I really wanted to also use TradingView. So I needed TradingView integration. And it seems that Topstep as well as Apex offers that. So that was another reason why I was, locked into Topstep. But yeah, there's nothing against Apex other than I didn't like the unrealized gain. But that's something that you can still work through as long as you know the rule up front. I just felt like my challenge would be a little easier with Topstep. All right, crypto queen. Nope, no worries. Hey, demo trading, live trading, funded trading. I mean, I guess live trading is different, but funded trading and demo trading is essentially the same. It's just in funded trading, they'll pay you for your demo account and building your demo account as long as you follow their rules. Right. Just the only, I guess, one of the advices I can give if you are a demo trader and you're seeing success, don't overlook the development of your psychology, because when you flip that switch over to either doing a funded trading account or into real money, your psychology will change once you know that the outcome of the trade actually matters. So just keep that in mind. Yep, you're right. So Apex offers 20 accounts, and that is a huge benefit for Apex over Topstep, which only offers 3. I do agree with that. That is a benefit. Um, but I also wasn't looking for looking for the 50,000 or even thinking that I would trade that many accounts, having to go through that many I guess evaluations. But I didn't realize, and also when I decided to do Top Step, I didn't realize that you could do your evaluation and copy trades, so you could essentially do those 20 accounts all at one time. Yep. All right. Looks like New York low is coming to be swept. So essentially the low from what, 15 minutes ago. I'm asked, no, they don't. They don't have the unrealized. They wait until your balance at the end of the day, and then that's what you're measured on. Okay. Yeah, I've never tried Top Step X. I do know it's out there, and I know they were demoing it with some of their, I guess, partners, and then they started offering it to others who were part of the Top Step group. And I know there was a waiting list, and they were rolling it out to a few people at a time. So I figured I'd just let everyone else get in, let the bugs work themselves out, let it become widespread and open for everyone, and then I would consider moving to Top Step X. But for now, I'm enjoying TradingView. Pavan, I do recommend futures. I can't say I recommend futures over options because I don't know much about options. I've never traded options. But I do like futures, and so that's the only thing we trade here. There may be someone else in the room who understands options and can answer questions if you have them, but I don't have a lot of knowledge on the subject, so I can't help you with options. Yeah, I know Apex offers TradingView. So so that's also now why, if you look in my description, I also have an affiliate link with Apex. Because once I finish and max out Top Step, I may consider having a few accounts at Apex. It's always good to diversify just in case, I don't think anything bad would ever happen to Top Step, but you just want to make sure that you're covered because when you become a funded trader and trading is your business, then you have to protect your business. Um, So I may actually pull a couple accounts from Apex and trade those. See, Young understands options. Young, maybe you can help Pavan out on options over futures. Which one you prefer? All right. I think I'm not sure if anything is major is going to happen in the next 2 minutes before this macro ends. I'm gonna run and get some coffee, and when I get back, I'll look and see where price is, and we'll go from there. Alrighty. So let's remove these lines. Looks like nothing really happened. Just a little consolidation for 20 minutes. Yeah, Tommy, I'm not sure if you can do that on TradingView. I haven't looked into that, but I think you can, but you probably have to do something where it's linked through Tradovate, and then you make one trade on TradingView, and then Tradovate executes them in the background. But I'll have to look that up. All right, votes are in. Like 2 out of every 5 of us is looking for price to just kind of play in a range today. 3 out of 10 says bearish. Almost 3 out of 10 says bullish. Okay. Hmm. We're just taking a peek at this fair value gap that it was invalidated just to see if I should have recognized something from it. Hmm. All right. Looks like we have a full liquidity here that price is moving towards. And if it does hit that, then most likely we missed the silver bullet, which would have been these fair value gap entries. All right, let's go back to the 5 minutes so we can have more of a bird's eye view on price. Right. Interesting price action here. These 4 candles are now duplicated again. Okay. Range today, stop hunt PM tomorrow. Okay. Wednesday pull back to grab the imbalances. And then Thursday, that big news day, then run for all-time highs and then just be off to the races on Friday, maybe, Ray? Yep. Yeah, you're right, Laugh. The Dow, man. This morning, the Dow was definitely out front. It was leading the way during the opening range. Playing with your emotions. So, Crypto Queen, are you in a position then? Or are you just waiting? Well, let's bounce over to ES then, since Nasdaq is just ranging and not doing very much. Okay, yeah, ES definitely looks better for sure. Mm, New York high taken immediately when the new hour started. Okay, all right, Crypto Queen. So we confirm a 5-minute bearish breaker. Let's see. Short from around here. It also has the fair value gap. Wow, not bad. Hmm. So all it needs to do is break the New York low. All right. All right, let's get back over to ES and let's just take a peek at it for a little bit. I know we normally stick to Nasdaq, so I do want to give ES a little bit of love, especially in a moment when Nasdaq's not doing much. Okay, you said the 9:45 minute candle. Okay. Yeah, you're right, Ray. And it never cleared that civvy. Let me move this out of the way. Mm, mm. Yep, still in the opening range, still there. Mm. Okay, so this same fair value gap is the same one on the 15-minute, the same one on this 5-minute here. And just like on the 15-minute, we see a push deep into the fair value gap. We even see it get out of the fair value gap on 3 consecutive 5-minute candles. And each time it continues to close either inside the zone or below. And we're seeing lower highs now. I mean, we're not seeing lower lows, but we are seeing lower highs. All right, finally broke through. Crypto Queen, there you go. 466 to 438. All right, previous day high is now in play. All right, up next, if we continue pushing lower, just below that, I mentioned earlier, we have we have the new week opening gap. So the gap from Friday's close and last night's opening. Yep, ES has. It's just on the higher time frame. It hasn't swept any levels. I'm looking at the hour, but if I drop down, let's see where we are. Yep. Yep. ES is now back to its opening range value. So it's now back at the 930 open. And let's check out the Dow and see where we are. Not quite on the Dow. Not quite there yet. Dow is still above its 10 o'clock open. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right. Yep, on the 15-minute, ES did sweep swing lows, equal lows, really. All right, there we go. We got a rejection out of the new week opening gap. Let's see if we get another retrace down there for a retest. Mm-mm. Yeah, it seemed like trading is 85% tape reading, 15% trading, maybe even a wider gap than that. Maybe 95% tape reading, 5% trading. Okay, we just moved half past the hour. We're about halfway through our session this morning. Hope everyone is enjoying the session so far. Just want to continue to encourage the chat to be used for any questions you may have. Don't feel like you're too new or your question is not worth being answered. Just go ahead and throw it out there. Okay, it looks like we're starting to get all the indices to move in tandem. So we just may see price loosen up in just a bit. So let's be aware of that. The next PT. Hmm. Crypto coin. I think what you're saying is that it does it in order. So it theoretically, I guess, closes the first order. Okay, so let's say you have two entries, two separate entries. Um, I think they close in the order that they were open. If that makes sense. I mean, it ends up being the exact same, but just the way that it happens, I guess, it may look a little wonky. Yeah, I think what happens is when you have two entries, if I'm not mistaken, the way it's showing on your screen is it's showing it as where the average entry is. But when you close one and you only have one open, then you know, then the second entry is your average. So I think it moves it to wherever your second entry was. And so therefore, if you had your stop loss in a certain location that you felt it was safe, But then your last entry was a little further in price, then you will have to adjust your stop loss if you still want it to be break even. And that's if I'm understanding your question correctly. Okay, so we had two tests on the 5-minute chart. We had two tests of the new week opening gap. One push all the way through and reject back above the previous day high. We had another to the 50% mark of the new week opening gap to the tick. We saw that reject as well, back up to the fair value gap. And now we're looking at the follow-up candle to see where it wants to go. And we not only did it trade up to the fair value gap, but it traded inside. So let's see if there's a rejection coming out. And that was actually a potential entry for someone going short. Okay, so it's 1 hour instead of 2. Crypto Queen, do you still have one contract open? Sorry, I had to put that there. I just saw that it was making a little trend there. So I just want to make sure that I see when that trend is broken. Okay, and your second entry, if I'm not mistaken, your second entry is probably your best entry. So that entry that's still open should be massively in profit, while the first one didn't appear to catch as much profit as you thought. Um, I think when you close the second entry and then you put them together, it'll be what you originally thought it was going to be with the combined entry and the average that it was showing when you had two positions open. All right, there we go. Good to see. It's on the other side of that trend line, so I can now get rid of it. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't starting a trend. All right, sweet. All right, so we had open on the other side of this trend line, rejection from it, and now a retest of these lows that were just created, including the new week opening gap. So I'm looking at very, very near term 447, which is not far from where we are now. Is a lower target. Further from there down to 416, 400 level. There you go, Antonio. It's a work in progress, but yes, following your plan is absolutely a must. That's the only way to really evaluate how you're performing, and it's also the only way to gain confidence in the probabilities of taking trade setups. Mm. Hey, keep it pushing. All right, so the New York high is relative equal highs, so it'll be a good target for sometime later. But for now, let's see how low we can go. Just the 15 minutes so we can see it a little better. All right, 15 minutes now sitting inside of a fair value gap. Let's see if it closes below. If we get the 15-minute to close below this gap, then as I mentioned, there's not much in the way of getting down to 420 to 400, 7420 to 7400. So let's continue to let price print and let's see if anything looks enticing to us where we want to take an entry. All right, we're just now entering the macro period, so we have 20 minutes worth of price action where we want to see if there's any type of market structure shifts or breaker structure or just anything like that that points towards potentially taking an entry for some type of short-term target, not anything long-term. Just because of the way price action has been this morning, and there's not a lot of targets around, but we do want to make sure that if there is an entry for 20 or 30 points or so, that we take advantage of that. Hmm. All right, Toker FX. Which broker are you using? Are you doing futures or are you doing a US 100? Like a CFD or something? 17,323. All right. Take a peek at that. We can see we ran through the regular trading hour gap. All right, Antonio. Yeah, Ash is good. He is really good. Okay, looks like I can't make that any larger. Length of the box is only 100. So that's fine. I'll just have to mentally make a note that these fair value gaps are here. And if I really need them, I'll draw them out myself. But I'll stretch this inversion that was a level that price bounced out of on Friday. I'll stretch it out and see if it's still holding its weight today or if it just passes right through it. All right. Yeah, I just wanted to show everyone that the regular trading hour gap that was created has been traded through already today. And majority of this progress, most of that was done between 1800 and midnight. The London session really didn't deliver very much. Yeah, you're right. There are lots of different times, especially from Hydra, because he has those in between times, like the 920 to 940 and the or 920 to 930 and then 820 to 830, something like that. So yeah, um, those are a lot of times that are kind of mixed in. I generally only use the ones that are at the end, the last 10 minutes of the hour and the first 10 minutes of the following hour. But yes, you're right. He does use a lot of those in betweens. Crypto Queen, I think it was you I was telling last week where I was saying a lot of times you get reversals at 8:30, 9:30, and 10:30. Um, and that might be what coincides with his uh, 820 to 840 macro, kind of that middle of the hour kind of situation, is that he's also recognizing that you see price do a reversal. And if you're getting a reversal, more than likely you're getting a breaker somewhere. So you're getting a new extreme, whether it's a low or high. and then you're getting it flipping around and then going the opposite direction and creating that break of structure. So that might be why he has those macros in the middle of the hour. But yeah, take a look at it, do some back testing, and let me know what you think. Uh, will we expect lower prices for the rest of the session? Well, if that becomes the high of the day, then not necessarily. You just don't expect higher prices. So you could get a consolidation where we just bounce around. So we'll go and we'll sweep some lows somewhere, maybe down to this fair value gap or some other key level. And then it could just kind of bounce in between a 100-point range for the day. And if we look at where the high is now and then where we're currently trading, that's still close to 140 points. So if we go a little bit lower than 150-point range back and forth, is definitely possible. I'm not sure. I had an option of choosing whether I wanted it to be more aggressive or just normal, and I selected normal. So I'm not sure why you're getting more ads or getting so many. I wonder if it has anything to do with jurisdiction. So depending on where you're from, but I'm not really sure. That's all coming from YouTube. Mm, You're right. I think he did add 5 minutes on. I think he added 5 minutes to the front end and 5 minutes to the back end, so it ended up being an extra 10 minutes for a couple of those macros. Yep, you're right about that. I think that was the. I think it was the one at like 3:15 or something, but don't quote me on that. But I do remember looking at it and seeing that he was slightly off, or not slightly off, but he had different numbers than what I had experienced listening to ICT. But that's really where the backtesting come in. You get to validate or invalidate what he's saying in this video and make it your own. So that's what I recommend, that you take a look at what he did, use it as a base, go into your charts, figure out how you can interpret that information into trades throughout the week, and then make it your own. That's what he did. That's why his numbers are slightly different than ICT. He went into the charts and it just made sense to him to use those time frames as his macro. Go ahead and set that up. See when that low is swept. All right, everyone, 11 o'clock. One more hour on this session. Oh, consequent encroachment of a breakaway gap at 429. We do. Yep. So therefore, if you're in a short, you may want to consider partialing there, or just adjusting your stop loss. That it was Vivian, absolutely. But that's the way it is, and this might be why some people choose not to trade on days without news, because without that big jolt to price, sometimes this is what you get. right, to ensure that I am upbeat and ready for this final hour, I have 1 cup of coffee left. I'm going to run and grab that. I'll be back in 1 minute. Everyone, 1 hour left. Did I miss while I was gone? Right. Yep. Let the runners run. See how far it gets. Hmm. Still battling that new week opening gap. Plus this fair value gap that's sitting just above. We had 3 failures last time. We had a failure last candle. And so this is the 5th attempt at breaking through that fair value gap. Yep. Yeah, Vivian, you're right. Everyone needs a couple of those, in their trading journey. Like you need a few where you take some heat, but then you see your stop loss performance function the way it's supposed to. And then you see your trade work out the way that you anticipated it working out, giving you confidence going forward. So yeah, we all need a few of those along the way. And glad Crypto Queen was able to execute that this morning as a follow up to Fridays. All right. So it's not only the fair value gap that's holding price, it seems to be also inside that fair value gap is the previous day high. Trading below the previous day high seems to now have held price for the last, I don't know how long is this, about 20 minutes, 25 minutes. Okay, looking for sell side entry. Okay. Hello, Zach. Welcome. Zach, you missed all of the boring parts. The sitting around, the waiting, the consolidation, the less than stellar price action. You didn't miss much. Well over 2 hour. Yep. 3 minute bearish. Okay. Okay. Switch back down to the 5 minute. It was a bit more price action to look at. We're in this 50 point price range right now. And let me just see where the 50% mark is. It looks like we're close to that now. In fact, bouncing off of it. So 50% of this range is also the 50% mark of the new week opening gap, which this candle just found support from. And now we see it pushing higher. So let's see if it pierces through 490. Yep. Spot on, Zach. Definitely low probability. It did produce. A crypto queen jumped in early during the 10 o'clock hour and was able to ride the move down, collecting a couple contracts. But for most of us have been on the sideline. Oh, good idea. So by the time the charts actually start moving, the dog will be tired and feeling satisfied and fulfilled from the playing session, and then he'll leave you alone, he or she. Hmm. All right. Good observation, Ray. Hmm. All right, two trades, one contract each, two wins, 369 total ticks. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Wow. 70. Yep, almost 90 points in total. Holy crap. Crypto Queen. I'm not sure if you're doing micros or minis, but if you're doing minis, that's a solid day right there. All right. Swing high is in play now on the 5 minute. This 50-point zone that we spoke about earlier. We're about 6 or 7 points away. On a higher time frame, on 15 minute, this range here is more like 100 points as opposed to 50. So depending on which time frame you're looking at, the consolidation can still be in play for quite some time. Mm. Yeah, I'm sitting here looking at this 5 minute, thinking about a breaker here. Especially if it can leave this fair value gap right here open. Okay, that's not going to happen. uh, but nothing's confirmed yet, so I'll take that off. Okay, you're doing micros. Okay, I see. You're right, Vivian. That's a close your laptop type of day. So thank you, everyone. Have a good day. I'm going to go off and enjoy the rest of mine. Yeah, the five seems to hold up and seem to be pretty strong. I'll take ones on smaller time frames, but it definitely has to fall within a macro. It can't just be a random time. And then I'll look at a 1 minute. So I don't have an issue with it, but it can't just be price. It has to also be time. Pushing through. Okay, another chance. God bless you. Good night. Thank y'all for coming out. London low and 1 hour sell side liquidity. All right, so London had broken this type of high right here. I'm sorry, not London, ES. ES has already taken over that level. So now we see Nasdaq following. Yep, it's out of time zone or out of the time range for me. So it's not something I'm looking at an entry for, but I do like how price is delivering right now. Yeah, Ray, we heard from you last week. You know exactly where the promised land is. D. Anderson, thanks. Glad you joined us as well. Thanks for being in the chat and you know a participant in this channel. I mean, I'm thankful for everyone who's here, even just those who are watching. But I'm really appreciative of those in the chat who are actively participating and helping out, being vulnerable, letting everybody know what they're looking at, which trades they may have taken. That takes some courage, and I thank you all for that. Elena, not so far this morning. No, price action hasn't been very strong, or at least not for the way some of the strategies that I use. But we did have a subscriber that was in a short from almost the very top, which was a very good trade for her, not for the rest of us who were just tape reading and watching. But yeah, price action hasn't been that strong this morning. But yeah, I do, back to D. Anderson, I do realize that I'm not for everyone. Some people really want that energetic host who, I mean, I drink coffee, but it doesn't do it doesn't do that to me. Maybe it's the Red Bull. I'm not sure, but yeah, and I promise I won't play any music. I don't want to even distract myself. So I try to tape read. It keeps me calm. It also allows me to continue to demonstrate to myself that I've learned something. Because I can't tell you how important it is that your psychology and confidence support you in trading. Otherwise, the technicals alone just won't do it. Um, but yeah, I'm glad you're here. Thanks for joining the channel and coming back every day. Let's see, Toker FX. Yeah, no problem, Toker. It's you're right. It's a lot of time. It's about 6 hours a day. I am that Mohican. Thank you, and welcome to the channel. Good to have you. Yeah, we are. We're moving on up. Yeah. Okay, we had a peak of 100, so that's pretty stellar. I'm happy with that. I am happy. All right, folks, it is that time. I haven't asked this morning, so I hope you guys appreciate that. But if you could do me a huge favor and hit that like button so YouTube knows that people in this room are enjoying the content and they can then suggest additional traders or anyone else who are looking for working from home or futures or Topstep or any of those type of keywords. They'll push them our way. Bianca, yes, check down in the chat. I mean, sorry, in the description of the video. We just started it a little over a week ago, so we're still getting everything organized and put in there. But I was in there this weekend, adding a few things. I put in my weekly markup for the dollar, for ES, and for Nasdaq. So I'll try to keep that up each weekend on go in, mark up the weekly chart, have some sort of prediction of what I think the week is going to bring, and just put it in for everyone's reference. Yep. Okay, so this high has been taken. Let's remove that marker out of the way. So it's right back up to the New York low. You're right, Fauci. Nobody wants to give the market back what was secured last week. Not only that, we saw what discipline, what type of results you can get from having discipline. So we don't want to break that too early this week. All right, so we have a breaker here without a fair value gap in it. So that's not as enticing to me. And also, as I mentioned, it didn't occur. I'm sorry, we didn't get the market structure shift or the breaker structure during the macro period before 11:10. So since it occurred afterwards around 11:25, I'm going to bypass this entry and I'm just going to continue to watch it and see if it delivers anything. So I can still forward test even if I'm not in the trade. Hey, let's check on the dollar, see where it's at. Dollar's definitely having one of those consolidation days. All right, so as I'm looking at the hourly on the Nasdaq, we just had a rebalance of price. And so I want to see where it goes now, whether we see it push even lower, um, because it's not going to allow a fair value gap to create by rebalancing price. And a lot of times what happens when it does that is you see price pushing in the previous direction with speed and power. So let's see if that happens. Yes, CEO, I would recommend it, especially he has a video in there on the unicorn setup. So if you're not familiar with the unicorn, that would be a good video to go watch. TP at 520. All right, let's drop down to the 1 minute. I think Crypto Queen said there's a breaker on the 1 minute. Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Oh, JL. All right. Welcome. Welcome. And thank you, Crypto Queen, for the recommendation, for the referral. Well, JL, I'm sure you've seen by the chat that lots of people are asking questions, and there are multiple people who will answer them for you. So don't be shy. If you have any questions, just throw it out there. Or if anyone else throws out a question that you have an answer for, join in. And again, welcome to the channel. What's your bullish breaker? 1054, 1 minute. Okay. Oh, yeah. That's the one I highlighted. All right. I wasn't sure. I was like, is that the one? And price tapped into it at 1119. Okay. 1118. Yep. No, Crypto Queen. I'm looking at it now. When you mentioned it, I was looking. I said, well, where's the breaker for the 1 minute? And then I said, okay, this is most likely it. Um, for me, I would have probably been confused here just because I'm looking for when it goes below, I'm looking for it to break the low. And this one didn't do that. But that's just me. So maybe, I could be incorrect in my analysis of a breaker. Um, but that's what I would have been looking at. But look at how things worked out. And if there was a long tool here, right, you put it at the bottom of the breaker or just outside that range, even if you went outside for the new week opening gap, right, be 2x now, which is, it's only 22 points, but even a 3x trade, it's 32 points. Your stop loss would have been 11. Hey, TJ, welcome back to the stream. So far, Crypto Queen is the only one. Everyone else is tape reading. We're all holding out, waiting for maybe the afternoon session or something, because this morning just hasn't been the strongest price action. It hasn't given us what we've been looking for as far as time and price. But Crypto Queen seems to still be able to navigate through these muddy waters. Yep. CEO, that is great advice from Crypto Queen. Absolutely. Your confidence will come from the back testing on, like when you say when to get in, when to get out. How do I know I can enter this trade confidently? That only comes with your own practice. All right, retest of the 5 minute breaker. We have the 1 minute breaker down here for this trade setup, and then we have the larger 5 minute breaker for this trade setup. And just to be clear, I am not in a trade. In fact, I'm not sure anyone in the in the chat is in the trade either. So this is more of when price action not doing exactly what we want, we can still forward test and look at different setups to see how they play out without taking any risk. Oh, okay. We do got someone in from 17,459. Oh, okay. Oh, wow. He got in down here. All right. Let's go ahead and see what that trade would look like. Here. Oh, 1 to 2 has been delivered. 2.5 has been delivered. So if he's still in, let's see what 3 would look like for him. All right, just below the fair value gap. So if we reach a fair value gap, that's a 1 to 3 trade, delivering 50 handles. All right, Loot, we'll be watching for you. Brad's also in. Okay, all right, Brad's TP is at 520. Okay, so not quite. Brad needs to get above the fair value gap and above the London low. The 1108 candle. You're right. That is a great entry, actually. Damn, Loot. That's awesome. Cupertino. No, I would say this first entry here is just more of an optimal trade entry, right? So we have a fair value gap in discount. Let's see where we are. Well, looks like he hit it right at 50% too. Mm. Yeah, I don't know why, but I always like to do my fibs from the leg that actually did the moving and from the start, not from the very, very base. But from here, it looks like 61%, which would be the optimal trade entry, anywhere from 61 to 78. Yep, would be here. So we got almost a 61, it looks like, or right at it. Let's see what's the low of this candle. 57.5. Yep. So it's like right there. So that would be that entry. The second entry is a breaker block on the 1 minute, which is here. This one candle at 1054. We saw, right? Remember, your breaker is going to be a low to a high, lower low, higher high, and then a retracement. So that's going to be your breaker setup. When it, and it's this, let me highlight this area a little differently so it's easier to see. It's purple. Nope. All right, let's go with yellow. Okay, orange maybe. All right, so this orange area will be the 1 minute breaker, and it's based on this one candle here going up and price shooting down below and then coming back above. You see this retracement right here on this candle, 1118. It taps right into this orange area, and that would have been your entry. And then the larger blue area is the same type of entry, but for a 5 minute. So if we move to the 5 minute, then you'll see it's this candle for the low, high, lower low, higher high, retracement back in on this candle right here. See this one candle here, trace it right in, and your entry would have been at 490. So those are the 3 entries, and it's based on the entries of those in the chat. Yep. And also Cupertino, remember the silver bullet is only between 10 and 11 a.m. So after 11 a.m., we're no longer looking for a silver bullet entry. All right, wow, I need to clean up a little bit. It's a little difficult to see here now. Take this back down to blue. Just see how deep the retracement made it. All right, so yeah, 50% level would have not been a good entry so far because it hasn't retraced that far yet. But maybe something in the 20 to 30% would have been right there, right up everyone's alley to take an entry there. Let me drop this. Yes. Yep, Zach, and you could be right on that a lot of times. Just using the body. I just did it this time. I think it's because the are you talking about the 1 minute here, or are you talking about the 5 minute, the larger one? Let's see. Because yeah, in a lot of cases on the 5 minute one, I will not include this down wick. So I'll include the body. And if the wick above is short, I include that as well. and I don't really have a measurement on what's short and what's not. But if it's not too extensive, then I will include it as part of the body. Triple H, I didn't enter a trade because it's not within my trading style, not within my model that I'm looking for. I'm looking for certain things to happen at a certain time, and if that doesn't happen, I'm not going to take the trade. But I'm happy to assist you guys in any way that I can. I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have. But if it doesn't meet my trading criteria, then I'm not going to enter a trade. No, Verinder. I have not taken one this morning. I have not. Mm. Oh man, look at that. I didn't realize that. Who's that asking me about fair value gap? I mean, about the breaker. Okay, Zach, about the breaker. Now that I've adjusted the 5 minute breaker to not include that down wick, then I guess everyone was right about entering at half of the breaker. So I stand corrected. Thanks for that. All right, everyone. 10 minutes left. Can I get any final questions? Anything you have, throw it in the chat so we make sure we cover it before we get off. Don't forget, we are coming back this afternoon at 1300. All right, Brad. Equal highs. Let's see if that becomes a quick target here. If it runs those equal highs, then that'll produce a 1 to 3 for anyone who took this on the 1 minute breaker block. because a 1 to 2 has already been delivered. Yep. All right, I'm just going to quickly bounce over and then show the comparison again. I said I would. So we can see, I put Fibonacci's up here, but you don't have to pay too much attention to them if you don't want to. But what's most important is that we have bullish candle here for the hour, slightly bullish here, bearish on the Dow. And then we also have the dollar. So these two looks like the opposite of these two. And that's not what we want to see. So just wanted to highlight that, make sure everyone is aware, and seeing why we might have price stuck now, or why it seems like it won't get out of the range it's in and deliver the profit that we can clearly see it wants to get to. But in a lot of cases, that's why when they are no longer correlated and they break, then you generally have really low probability or high resistance price action. And that's what we're seeing now. I mean, we can clearly see price is bullish here, but on average, it moved 1 point per minute this hour. Right. Will it catch those equal highs? Yep. Yep. Yeah, Brad, I think you're right there. Yep. So Topstep, you have to close your account by 4:10. 4:10. If you don't close your trade, they'll close it for you. And then they spend like the between 5 and 6, I guess, consolidating all the results from all the traders and getting everything. And then the system updates right around just before 6 o'clock. So before the market reopens at 6 p.m., you'll see your daily progress and where you are with the account. So good luck on your combine, Robert, and congratulations so far on a good progress for day one. And hopefully that continues. We'll be back, like I said, this afternoon. So we're going to take an hour break and then we'll come back. So anyone interested in trading with me again, I would love to see you in about an hour and some change. Any final questions? We still got about 3 minutes remaining. Yep, absolutely, Zach. So now this was what, a 1 to 3 on the 1 minute breaker delivered. So we'll delete this, right? Anyone who took the fair value gap down here, 1 to 3 delivered. Delete. All right, now the 5-minute breaker. This breaker was large. It was quite large, but yeah, if you put the stop here below the breaker, then a 1 to 2 would be here. If you entered at consequent encroachment, then your 1 to 2 was delivered quite some time ago. Even during all of this right here, you were still at a 1x, a 1R. You were at a 1R even during this consolidation, where you could have just decided to walk away because you risked 9 points and you had 9 points the whole time. But now it has delivered more than that, more than the 2. Let's assuming you took the conservative entry here. 1 to 2 trade is still above. Yep. Oh, okay. Oh, you're saying to have it to where when you do a drawing here, it shows up in the 15 as well? Is that what you're saying, crypto? Because if that's the case, I think what you're saying is the first thing you want to do is at the very top, you want to decide what type of setup you want to have. All right, so I have this one here. There's a chart in the top left corner as well that you guys can't see because that's my video of me, if you want to, so you can see my face. But I do have a 1-hour chart behind that that I'm looking at. So you start there with deciding how you want your layout to be. But then what you need to do is, and I probably need to move this to the left because I think the left side of my screen is invisible. Okay. So what is missing is this right here, this button right here. So new drawings are replicated to all charts in the layout and shown with the same tick when the same ticker is selected. So this is a link. You want to click that you want all the charts in here to be linked. And that's how you get it to show up. And then when you're inside of a drawing, there's this last category here called visibility. And when you go to visibility, now you get to tell TradingView, these are all the charts that I want this drawing or this rectangle, this fair value gap to show up on. And that's why you'll see me sometimes I'll come in and I'll take, and I only want to see it from 5 minutes up. So then what I'll do is, so you have this all the way on all the minutes, then you'll adjust and say starting at 5 minutes through 59, show it. If I put in a 2-minute chart, this rectangle won't show up. Okay. All right, Crypto Queen, I hope that answered your question. If not, let me know so I can readdress. One to 2.5. Awesome, Brad. Good job. All right, unless there are any other questions, we're going to break for an hour. We'll break for an hour and then we'll come back. I'm going to leave this up to see how it develops during lunchtime, and we'll review this the first thing when I come back at 1300, and then we'll go from there with the afternoon session. Thanks again, everyone, for a great session this morning. All the newcomers, thanks for your energy. Thanks for being here and supporting the channel. And I hope to see you guys back soon. Take care. See you in an hour. Cheers.